Yeah, there's a lot of rumors about that. So here are the facts.
David Sinclair versus Brad Stanfield, the most confusing controversy right now in our longevity community. This controversy evolved from past grievances between Brad Stanfield and Sinclair. Look into the history of this, Sinclair blocking Stanfield, etc. And in this controversy, there is an additional behind-the-scenes turmoil within Harvard itself with Sinclair. Do you too feel betrayed and confused? When it comes to longevity habits, there is no room for errors. Today, we're cutting through the confusion to focus on what matters most, your health and your longevity. You'll see a rare segment removed from YouTube where David Sinclair responds to the NMN ban, and a rare response from him also about the $720 million Resveratrol sale controversy. Rimon, what do you think about recent videos of Brad Stanfield about David Sinclair and his favorite supplements such as Resveratrol and NMN and the controversies around these? I'll get at the end to where you want me to go, I promise that. I will even cover some of the controversies around Resveratrol. And I will share with you today what I found when I tried to verify these people. But before that, I have to provide a big picture in order to understand this answer properly. So let's begin. Our goal is always to understand both sides of the debate. An aphorism that I like is, a coin has two sides. Intelligence is on the edge, meaning the ability to view more than one perspective is what's truly valuable here. And Stanfield and Sinclair represent two differing viewpoints, and both are valuable for us. And I believe it's important to consider both of them to get the full picture. Let's start with David Sinclair. Now let's listen to him now.
I think that was a good way of being able to quickly test the hypothesis in an area that, going through the supplement route. I, on the other hand, I think because I'd had good experience with pharmaceuticals and I also have more time to wait, I took that route.
One person is a researching PhD who is focused on longevity and aging research. David's viewpoint is coming from a new dynamic field that is intuitive and rather speculative. Therefore, David cannot be conservative. I believe David tries to infuse enthusiasm into the field. The issue with David Sinclair is that he chose a pharmaceutical route, which is conservative and highly regulated by nature and very slow. Yet his statements and his ventures that affecting supplements, including investing directly in supplements such as aging for dogs, and his company's impact on NMN status, do not mix well with this conservative world. Also, the academic world attracts a lot of criticisms to him because it's very conservative. And this mingle of two worlds create controversies like this one. This is a recent controversy Brad Stanfield mentioned at the end of his video. The statement that created the controversy by David Sinclair is, "I'm very proud of the teams who, after years of collaborative research and clinical trial, have developed the first supplement proven to reverse aging in dogs." That's an example of what happens when Sinclair puts one leg in the pharmaceutical world and another in supplement ventures. By the way, this photo of Sinclair, it appears everywhere. I wonder how it was created in the first place. It looks really good here. Is it from his wedding? Another example is the NMN controversy. Sinclair ventured into the pharmaceutical world to treat sick people, a venture that belongs to healthcare. Yet his company seems to affect NMN sales status, a supplement which belongs to the wellness and longevity field. This mishmash, in my opinion, is a mistake that David Sinclair has made. It has caused us a lot of frustration and uncertainty. And it didn't help that David Sinclair almost never touches the controversies arising from that. This deficiency in communication makes a lot of room for speculations and confusion. Another important thing is Sinclair is a lab researcher. He's focused on his area of research, which is sirtuins, NAD, and epigenetic information. So naturally, he will give these areas more focus compared to other research areas in aging. And he will have a tendency to overstate the benefits coming from these areas. This comes from his passion to the field. But this is where he's coming from. Now, the second perspective that we have is Brad Stanfield, who is an MD. Brad has stated numerous times that he is focused on clinical guidelines, meaning treatment protocols and management strategies for different diseases and conditions. This is healthcare, and it's very different from longevity research. It is much more conservative. Brad's focus on clinical guidelines means that he focused on what is recommended by health organizations. Again, this is a much more conservative stance. This conservatism also means a defensive approach when it comes to the adoption of new supplements and nutritional protocols. especially one that the medical establishment does not approve. And usually new research gets their approval only when there is a massive amount of human data. This is very difficult with aging, by the way. And Brad has to be conservative also because he holds a license. One reason I chose not to become an MD is because I observed with doctors I learned from is that if they steer too much from what is accepted, their license and practice comes under threat, regardless of the results. And I didn't want it to affect what I can share with my audience and my clients. But there is a value in Brad's perspective. Warnings against side effects, etc. We need his perspective. Anyhow, right off the gate, as you can see, David Sinclair and Brad Stanfield, they come from completely two different perspectives. Therefore, conflict is natural and expected. Also, I suspect that there may have been past grievances between Brad Stanfield and Sinclair. Look into the history of this, Sinclair blocking Stanfield, etc. And in this controversy, there is an additional behind-the-scenes turmoil within Harvard itself with Sinclair. So naturally, you'll feel confused. But there is a solution for this. My main stance on these controversies is that none of these take away your power. Remember, it's the habits that give you the power. It's the habits that give you your longevity, not the research and not the expert's opinion. You have an absolute control over your habits and the intimate feedback that you receive from your body, no matter what Sinclair and his colleagues or Brad Stanfield say. So now you understand why these controversies don't matter much to me, because I still need to verify every piece of information and data and advice. And I learned that the hard way, believe me. And I will share with you today what I found when I tried to verify these people. If Sinclair's work, controversial or not, fraud or not, encouraged me to look closer into Resveratrol, into NMN, into Fisetin, quercetin, and scrutinize his claim, I see that as a beneficial outcome. And if you follow my channel, you know that many times Sinclair's longevity routine differ from what he found himself in his own lab experiments. And I usually offer a correction to that. Therefore, my primary concern isn't controversies, but rather the solid data and results that can benefit those I care about, my parents, my wife, and this includes you. Yes, I like our community very much. I like you. We are people who are independent-minded, think for ourselves, we love life, and appreciate good health. This is why we want to extend our youth. There is no shame in that. We also people who take responsibility and don't blame anybody for our own decisions. Therefore, we need the rational information, not leading with fear or anger. Now I'm getting back to Stanfield and Sinclair. And Brad will hate me for what I'm about to say here, and I will come across very unpleasant. Therefore, you must understand where I'm coming from. When dealing with doctors, institutions, and organizations such as Harvard, it's very important to remember this. All academies' purpose, their entire role, is to research and discover new information that you and me can implement. This is how they help our society. The ultimate goal, therefore, is not research, but the end experience of a human being. Reducing pain, reducing suffering, living longer, looking younger. Therefore, to me, results and results achieving individuals and people have the highest status in my world. I always prioritize results over academic status. I never said this in my channel before, but after I studied chemistry and biochemistry, my research started with the work of highly successful doctors. These doctors, according to their case studies, had achieved much better results, 2x to up to 10x, with their patients than what we achieve today in medicine. This includes diabetes, heart disease, fibromyalgia, neurological disability, autoimmune diseases, solving chronic ailments that medicine had no solution for. I was fascinated by these people. What exactly are they doing different? Intuitively, I knew that our body has an untapped healing capabilities. And these people, geniuses in my opinion, they were able to translate medical research into actual results in humans. And it's very, very difficult. And in many cases, over the last 17 years, I got access to their protocols and they corresponded with me directly. But from the get-go, I gravitated toward results. And today, I trust my analysis because it is supported by tangible results I achieved and observed with my clients in my own body. You can witness some of these successes in my intro video, where I showed only a fraction of the results that I achieved. I achieved many more results with my clients. These results gave me the confidence that my interpretation of data is correct. I let reality, not humans, be the judge. Worth noting, I'm not an MD and I do not provide medical advice. Now, Brad Stanfield and Sinclair, because I told you in the beginning that I have to verify any source of information. And you may wonder, what have you found? Let's start with Brad Stanfield. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, he presents very well. He's an excellent presenter and has a lot of charisma. I like watching him. And I've been following him for over the last 3 years. And I've double-checked his statements, which forced me to be super diligent. I owe some of the depth of my research to him. Let me explain. When I started this channel, I didn't believe that so many people cared about longevity. I thought I was one of the only ones. And this is why this channel's name is Wellness, not Longevity. But my clients told me, this guy, Stanfield, he said X, and it's very confusing. And I looked into it and I was confused too. Especially that his videos fell under the area I cared about the most. My greatest passion, longevity and youthfulness preservation. And if Brad was right, I needed to know. I needed to change my habits. I need to change my parents' habits. I have to verify this. And in many ways, I wanted to be wrong. Because if I'm wrong, it means I could achieve even better results than what I achieved today. I want to improve. So I looked into it and I found a mistake in Brad's interpretation and published one of my first videos on longevity. I really didn't think people cared. Again, later that year, new claims came in from my clients. And I had to double check everything Brad said again, because if I'm wrong, I will change the habits immediately. But when I try to verify Brad's info, he has been mistaking again and again. You can find just 2 videos on mistakes that I found that he has made. I can't create video for every mistake Brad makes. The goal of my channel is to enrich you with more knowledge, not to criticize every mistake someone else makes. These mistakes and other mistakes that I did not publish would have cost me personally some longevity if I had made them into habits. Also, Brad has yet to demonstrate any proven success with his patients above what we achieve today in medicine that could counterbalance these errors. And one thing that you should know about me, when I need to take a massive amount of data in order to make decisions for the people I love the most, I take recurring errors from experts very seriously. When it comes to longevity habits, there is no room for errors. Today, I do like Brad's content, but I mainly use it to catch up on new studies that I may have missed. But I always verify everything independently. That also includes Sinclair. And I suggest you do the same with my content. Everybody has a right for their opinion. Still, I think Brad publishes good introductory videos into subjects. So if Brad published a video and I think it could benefit my clients on things that they need a quick introduction into the subject, not a 7 hours videos like the one I make, I will share his video with them as well. Again, I have nothing against him. I only want to increase my longevity. Regarding David Sinclair, the same idea. There are no sacred cows. I have verified and corrected David Sinclair's claims as well. For example, check my videos on Resveratrol dose and lately on Rimon and Fisetin. The thing that bothers me is that in the last 2 years, Sinclair hardly produced any new content. And I want Sinclair to produce content so I could try to verify any statements that he has made on supplement and habit. And to me, honestly, it's a very good source of new ideas for research that I could verify. I want new ideas. Also, in this defamation world, I appreciate that Sinclair never resorted to defamation against anybody, including his colleagues. You have got to give it to him. Now, Resveratrol. Regardless of what lab researchers argue about, this molecule created by plants has been around probably for 200 million years, and it's patented by nature. This 200 million years of natural defense plants produce preceded this entire controversy. In fact, the controversy mainly drove more research, which we can read. This is excellent for us because more interest, more research, and more data to think about. Sinclair could have made $700 million from it, or nothing at all. It's not relevant to my question or my research on Resveratrol. And by the way, he claimed that he made very little from the sale of his Resveratrol company since he owned a very small stake in the company. I don't know if it's true or not. Now let's listen to him now.
So Sotris was a company that I co-founded in 2005, and it was my first company. It was a venture-backed company. It went public, and it was eventually sold to GlaxoSmithKline for a lot of money. I was, a child, got what's called diluted down to, almost nothing.
1%.
Or less, yeah. But the little money I made has been reinvested into new companies, which I'm excited about.
And regarding NMN controversy, check other videos such as my 2024 updates. And about this specific controversy, I did find for you a rare segment where David Sinclair himself addresses that controversy.
Because it's being considered as a potential drug, the FDA is looking to take it off as a supplement.
Well, so yeah, there's a lot of rumors about that. So here are the facts. So NMN has not been taken off the market. I don't think it will be. There's precedent for that. The company Metro Biotech did start clinical trials about 6 years ago with NMN. And according to the Food and Drug Administration Act, if that happens, then the FDA should not allow additional permits to sell a supplement of the same material. Now, it's similar material. It's not exactly the same, but still the FDA came down with a ruling saying that it falls under that rule. Now, I want everybody to have access to anything. I'm all for health, not for profit as a primary goal. I'm hopeful that NMN will stay on the market.
Tell me if you believe him. The important thing to remember here is that when dealing with controversies, you hold the power. You are in control of your body and the decisions you make. Experts can differ with their perspectives, but ultimately, they cannot harm you if you approach the information with a critical mind and minimize fear. Reducing fear is the key. Fear prevents thinking. When we are surprised by fear, we cannot think properly and we cannot stick to our habits. No confused person sticks to his habits. Letting the fear of harm paralyzing you, giving away your power for free, is the real danger. So please don't let the fear or warnings about harmful experts and supplements to sway you. You can still avoid these supplements and experts. You don't need a billion-year evolutionary mechanism, fear, to do it for you automatically, pressing your buttons. And generally speaking, if someone induces fear into you, it's never in your best interest. You can avoid things based on calm judgment, not fear. A calm driver is much more likely to avoid accidents than a frantic, fearful one. So, stay calm, positive, think, and focus on your objectives. Fear is never the solution. A note about aging. Aging, or as I call it, youthfulness preservation, is very hard to research. No one person holds all the pieces. It's because aging and longevity is a complex topic that requires a deep understanding of evolutionary biology, biochemistry, genetics, hormone, and personal experiments, and ideally some proven success in other areas in wellness and health by the person researching. Because success and results with clients and also animals means that the person can interpret data correctly and know how to translate this data from animal studies and mechanistic studies to humans. You need this translation because there is never going to be enough human data, not in our lifetime. The best human data that we have today is sometimes results with clients or with our own bodies, or even anecdotal evidence. This is why testing is also valuable. And even with that, we still don't know how to fully measure aging, its full spectrum. This is what we have to work with. Therefore, it will never fall under the clinical guidelines. We have to accept that. And in my opinion, aging research is so complex that it requires at least 10 to 15 years minimum of focused research on this specific topic. This is what I have done since 2007. To summarize, don't let controversies confuse you. Hold on to your power. What will make you younger is not new research or controversies, but your habits. And they are 100% in your control. Reduce fear and don't buy into it. Think for yourself. Check several perspectives of each debate and follow your intuition. When you are relaxed, you already know what is right for you. And remember, love, not fear, is the answer, and it will help you live longer. In future videos, we'll explore Brad's damaging effects claims against Resveratrol, expanding on this controversy. Subscribe to get notified. Last thing, my wife's chronic health problems since I met her really forced me to meet amazing doctors and researchers that you wouldn't believe, from all over the planet. And right now she's going through a program to recover from a stroke. And I want to say thank you so much to all the good people who helped me with my wife's recovery and donated to her program. Over 100 people donated, and 35 people deserve honorary mention for their contribution.